Recording started.
Alright, so I started the recording here, and welcome everybody. This is our second live class for personal finance, and this is the day it will be on every week, okay? So every Monday from 1:15 to about, I believe it's supposed to be just till 1:40 is when we'll have this, so only 25 minutes long. If it lasts 25 minutes. But the goal is to kind of get through the stuff that you're going to be working on. So for those that don't know, we have, let me slip to the next slide. Oh, I didn't want that one yet. That's okay. Let me just talk to you. So by the end of today, you should be finished with lesson or module 1, okay? Module 1 includes quiz 1.01, quiz 1.02, and quiz 1.03, okay? So those three are due by the end of today, okay? So Wednesday, okay, so the stuff we're going over right now, Wednesday, I think it's 2.04 and 2.05 are due, okay? And it just keeps going on like that. Like, whatever we cover in our lesson beforehand, so on Monday we're going to try to hit like lesson module 2, module 3, and then next Monday when we have our next lesson, because we don't have a lesson all the way until next Monday, we won't be there until that next lesson. Then we'll go over lesson module 4, module 5, and just so on, okay? We just kind of building up there. So a couple things, you guys have been pretty good about everything, but couple expectations I kind of have for you. Number one, kind of use your pointers to follow along with the teacher. Okay, just basically being an active participant. If you have questions, you can raise your hand. Can do that. I'm going to try to check the chat as much as I can as we're going through everything. One, respond for instruction the first time. It's kind of hard for me to wait around for 2-3 minutes for you to answer a poll question or something like that. Use the away button if you're away from your computer, so then I know, like, I understand things come up. I have kids that walk in, my little kids, sometimes they run in when they're not supposed to, that kind of stuff. So I understand we got to be away from our computers a little bit, so just push that away button so I know you're gone, and I know you're just not ignoring me. The next one is use the Blackboard chat appropriately. I'll give some time at the end of class, extra 5 or so minutes, where you guys can just chat away with your classmates. But right now we're just going to get going on with the lesson and lesson topics. Okay. All right. So today we're going to be talking about trade-off and opportunity cost. Okay. So basically, we're really looking at choices that we can make in our lives, so we can make sure we're financially stable and secure as we're moving on. Okay. So, what is a trade-off? Okay. One of the things is we only have so much time that we have in our lives, right? We only have so much things, and we have to choose some things over another. Kind of maybe it needs like prioritizing or something like that. Okay, so I had some people in the chat just not too long ago. So I had Savannah, Samantha, Piran, said they had jobs, right? So we had one that worked at Walmart, okay? Somebody that worked at Arby's, and somebody that works at Waffle Love, okay? What are they doing right there? Okay, they're kind of trading off their time. You can do so much things during your time, right? You could just want to play video games, that kind of stuff, or you could work, or you could do all these things. But we have to give those kind of trade-offs, right? So, and here's another example, like school. Okay, you come to school right now. You guys have invested kind of your time into this, so then you can get a degree, so you can get a better job, right? So why don't you guys put on the chat real quick, what are some things that you maybe don't like to do, but you do because you get something out of it? Okay. We kind of mentioned a couple of those, but what are some things that you do, maybe you don't necessarily like to do, but you're trading off your time, right? Okay, see a couple people on the chat up there. Okay, go to school. Perfect one, right? School is not the funnest thing for everybody, right? And you'll have to make some decisions as we're coming up, particularly like college, trade work, that kind of stuff. Is it worth it for you to trade off that time with that? Doctors, but it depends on the situation. Very, very understandable, right? Like, going to the doctor isn't good, but you know if you don't go, it could be worse, right? If you don't go to school, it could be worse. If you don't work, it could be worse. I clean so I don't trip on something and die. Okay, very good. So if you don't have like a clean house, right, you're kind of trading off that time, that energy it takes to clean the house. My job, I don't really like how I'm treated, but I enjoy what I do and I make money and it helps. Yep, perfect. Those are trade-offs that we got to think about as we're coming through these things. All right. So we got to look at like opportunity cost. Okay. So opportunity cost basically is, people often think of cost in terms of dollars, but cost could be anything. Okay. So as I said, cost could be basically your time. And I'm looking here at the bottom here. It could mean money, right? So, for example, one of the big decisions you guys are going to have to make is if you're going to get extra training after high school, okay? Well, let's see here. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of energy, and it takes money, okay? But what's the benefit, right? The opportunity cost. So, for example, let's say I want to get my welding certificate. Okay, this is something my brother did, which I'm proud of him that he did that. But he was working a job in construction, okay, and he was making, about $12 an hour. But he knew that if he went to school and he'd work a full day of work, and then he went to the local tech college, he would get his welding certificate. Instead of making $12 an hour, he'd start making $24 an hour. So he'd almost double the amount he was making per hour. Okay? And so he was able to go through. It did cost him extra money, but he was able to do that and get that money. Okay? So that's that opportunity cost that we're talking about. Okay? So we got to start making, going through what's called the decision-making process. Okay? Choices that are not always easy to make, okay, and sometimes we need a way to kind of think through these things. So before I get into the decision-making process, let me have you throw out on the chat real quick of what job you would like to have in, let's say, 5 to 10 years, okay? What job would you like to be in about 5 to 10 years? Okay, so being a nurse, like it. Yep, very good. What are some other jobs? Thank you, Samantha, for responding there. You guys all have to have something that you want to do. Okay, well, right now I'm going to be a Twitch streamer or pro player. Okay, very good. Yeah, and so those are something that you like to do. Okay, forensic science. Okay, I like it. So you got to think about. Yep, very good. I don't know, I have many things you want to be. Okay, so that's fine as well, right? Just trying to figure out what you want to do, because that's that part of that decision-making process, right? It took me, I think I switched majors in college, so many different times before I finally found out, what I wanted to do. So at least you have, and hopefully those that didn't answer, you have some ideas in your head, like what you want to do and what you can kind of work on this decision-making process. So the decision-making model is pretty easy, right? So you have a problem, right? And everybody's problem here on life, except if you are born wealthy, which does anybody have, like, they don't have to work their whole life because you got plenty of money from mom and dad? Not me. I wish I was like that, kind of, but no. I don't have many. Okay, very good. So that's our problem, right? We all need to have money to survive. We all need to have shelter, food, clothing. We have wants that we would like to have, and so we need that, right? So we got to look at the opportunities out there, and it's really looking at what's going on in the world around you as well. Okay, so for example, I had some people that were like they were in the tech end of things, right? So they want to stream stuff, or they want that. So technology is huge, okay? So that's something you can look at, so you have an opportunity there, okay? A nurse, I like how somebody said being a nurse. A nurse has very high demand. There's a lot of people that need, especially with all of the elderly people coming up. We have more elderly people coming up than we had ever before. Don't tell your parents I'm telling them they're old. I'm not saying that. But they need doctors more and nurses, right? And so that's something that's going to be a thing. Forensic science, we're always going to need that, okay? So there's all kinds of things out there so you got to look at the opportunity that's going there. So then you may be in that gathering information stage, right? So some of you mentioned that you don't know. There's a lot of different areas. And so you're going to have to go and look through these, like, okay, how much schooling does it take? How much effort is it? How much money is it going to cost up front? Is the money it costs up front worth it to me in order to get that, okay? And then you got to diagnose the cause, right? And then you have to make some assumptions, right? Is this something that I'm really going to do? You have to really look into yourself and say, okay, if I go to college, am I one that will complete it, right? I have a friend that is, oh man, I think he racked up about $25,000 worth of student loans and never finished his degree, okay? When he got married and his wife found out, she was not too happy. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're not putting away money, that you're not going to use. Okay, so one thing is develop alternatives, okay? So let's say you wanted to be a doctor, okay? But you may not make it to be a doctor, so maybe it's a nurse or a nurse practitioner, or maybe it's like, okay, I want to be a nurse, but I can't be a nurse right away, so I'm going to start to be a CNA and kind of work your way up the ladder, okay? Evaluate alternatives and their different consequences, okay? So if you go into some field that you don't like, so for example, I went into something called applied behavior analysis. I did a lot of training on it, and I wanted to be at the top and be like the supervisor that was over it, because I like the data part of it. But I didn't like the level below it, where I was having to work one-on-one with the people, and I was actually getting bitten by kids and stuff like that. So I learned that I didn't like that. So you got to figure out the consequences and what that's to do. So my brother actually told me that marketing would be a huge thing for my career. Yeah. So if you're thinking about marketing, Fernando, that's glad you brought that up. There's two types of marketing, right? The one's marketing yourself, right? And marketing yourself means that you are qualified for different positions. And so you can go out, you can go to job fairs, which I still go to job fairs actually. Sometimes I go to job fairs, I go to different things like that to just meet new people. So you're marketing yourself. And then also marketing products as a job or some type of marketing. So that is a good thing to go into. Yep. Okay, so then in the rest of the decision-making model, right, you need to choose and decide. Then you got to implement what you're doing. And then you need to evaluate and control. Okay, so the evaluate and control, I think, is one of the hardest ones out there. It's because you have to get in and you have to do it, right? If you told yourself, I'm committed to being a nurse or a forensic scientist, you don't quit, right? You just keep taking the classes, even though some of the classes may be horrible, the training, or some stuff you may not like. Know that your ultimate goal is that, and that you can accomplish that. Okay. All right. So we're gonna skip that real quick. Got two of those slides. All right. So first off, I'm gonna stop real quick. Any questions? Any comments? Anything that you guys want to run past here? Like somebody said, marketing. Is it anybody else that jumped on have ideas of what they want to do, what career, maybe field they want to go into? Looks like I have a couple people typing in the chat, so I'll give them some time to finish real quick, and then we'll go on with the last couple things here. Entrepreneur. Okay, very good. I like that. Being able to figure out a need of somebody and be able to do it. When is Module 1 due? Okay, good question. It's due today, Monday. So Module 1 is due Monday. Then Module 2 is due Wednesday. Module 3 next Monday. Yep. So Module 1, you have quiz 1.01, 1.02, and 1.03 in it. Okay, good question. Okay. All right, let's finish off here, and then I'll let you guys get going for the week. Remember, this is our only class this week. We'll have class on Monday from 1:15 to 1:40 and kind of go there. Okay? So let's just go the last couple things. This is kind of about the decision-making model, but also some things. So step 1, catch your vision for your life. Okay? You want to figure out what's going to work for you. Okay? Don't tell me what to do. Teach me who I am. So I think that there's some good kind of catchphrases in here. Once I know who I am, I know what to do. Okay? Do you really know who you are? What is truly important to you? Okay, so if something is a passion, right, you are going to want to go to work every day, right? We had some things saying, oh yeah, it's just here to pay the bills and that kind of stuff. But really, like, if you're bored to go to work, you're just going to keep switching jobs, you're not going to do that. But if you really find a passion, you can make money in any type of field or whatever that you do, okay? So keep up, just kind of find out who you are, find out what your likes are, and make money doing it. Kind of like entrepreneur, right? What Taylor said you want to be. Okay, number 2, talks about evaluate your financial health, okay? So why should you evaluate your financial health? You need to determine where you are now financially, okay? So I think this is kind of a big thing. You want to find out what kind of lifestyle you want to have, okay? Do you want a lifestyle that's kind of down here, Or do you want a lifestyle that's up here? Do you got to figure that out. So some people are fine just living paycheck to paycheck, okay? And they can budget that way and they can do things. Some people want to be more financially secure going throughout their whole life, and so they can put money away, have things like that. So you really need to find out what you can do. And then you got to kind of tailor your career around what do that. So let me look at this chat real quick. Do you think it is bad if you want to do something but they do not make enough money and you think you should still do so? Okay, so good question, Samantha. So I think everybody knows teachers don't make a lot of money. So I'm going to take myself for an example real quick. But I like teaching. I do. And so when I went in, I found out that, okay, you could try to tackle multiple jobs. Yeah, okay. So that's what I have to do, right? I have probably 3 or 4 jobs, okay? And some's kind of being an entrepreneur as well. But I love what I do, right? I love being able to teach you guys. I love being able to go out to different places. I have a little driver's ed thing that I do on the side. I teach for a university on the side. And then I also have another business on the side that's education related. And so I'm able to make enough money from all of those different things. And so I have to work a lot, which takes me away from my family. So that's that balance, that cost and benefit analysis. But I really like what I do. So I would say go for what you like to do and figure out how to make money doing it. That would be my kind of thing. So, and then Wendy said multiple jobs. Yeah. So, but I think you can make money in any area. You just have to find your little niche and kind of do it. That at least that's my theory. Okay. So, you need to define your goals. And so one thing I like about this is bringing in family. So my wife likes the lifestyle up here. Maybe she's high maintenance. Don't tell her I told you that. But she likes, a higher lifestyle. She likes to be able to go out to eat a lot. She likes to, go on vacations. And so you got to figure out with your family how you can maintain that lifestyle and be able to go that way. Okay. And work out that way. Okay, we only have a little bit of time, so I got just one more slide I got to go through, and then I'll leave it to you guys for any questions, and then you guys can stay around, chat with classmates, or take off and get things done. Okay, the last one is develop an action plan. Now, I'm still always developing an action plan as I'm going through things. I have my short-term goals that I want to meet like this month, weekly goals, to year goals, to 5-year goals, to 10-year goals, etc. And I have that all planned out. I'm very forward-minded thinking, so everybody doesn't think about that way. But you need to have just some goals to meet. And if you have some goals to meet, you're going to put your effort and your money in the right areas, and you'll be able to accomplish the task that you want to do. And ultimately, I think being happy is being able to achieve certain things and getting those what I like to call winning streaks, right? Oh yeah, I can do this, and I can do this, and I can do this, and you just keep kind of having those winning streaks on top of each other. Okay, so that is our lesson for today. Kind of a little bit there everywhere, but that's all right. So if you do have any questions, please contact me. Remember, today you need to have done quiz 1.01, quiz 1.02, and quiz 1.03. Okay, on Wednesday 2.04 and 2.05, and then we'll meet again on Monday. Okay, and that's where you'll have quiz like 3 point whatever it is from there. Okay, so I'm just going to stop the recording. I'm going to leave it open for questions, and then if you guys want to chat with your friends on here, feel free to do that. Okay, all right, thank you. and I'll get to those private